Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvise Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Śrīvāsādi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Śrīvāsādi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you very much for joining. We are continuing our study of Sri Bhagavad Gītā, chapter 6, entitled Dhyana Yoga, meditation. And we are going to read from verse number 42 onwards. Athava yoginameva kule bhavati dhimatam etadhi durlabhataram loke janma yadidrisham. Lord Krishna is instructing Arjun. So in the previous verse, Lord Krishna replied to Arjun's question. Arjun's question was that this path of yoga that you have described seems very difficult. In this world, there are so many temptations, so many problems. What if we are not able to follow the path of yoga and we fall down, if we fall away from the path of yoga? What will happen to the unsuccessful yogi? So Lord Krishna replied in verse number 41 that Prapya Punya Kritam Lokan Ushitva Shashwati Samaha Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashto Bhijayate. That an unsuccessful yogi, after enjoying in the heavenly planets for many years, takes birth on this earth planet in Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe. Geha means ghar, house. Takes birth in which family? Shuchinam Shrimatam. Families that are Shuchi. Shuchi means very pure, pious families. And Shrimatam means wealthy, financially prosperous families. So that they have a comfortable life and they can continue their progress in Krishna consciousness. In today's verse number 42, Lord Krishna is saying, or if unsuccessful after long practice of yoga, such a bhrashta yogi, one who has fallen down from the path of yoga, unsuccessful yogi, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists. Yogi Nam takes birth in a family of yogis. So unsuccessful yogi in the next life will take birth in the family of yogis. And these yogis are dhimatam. They are endowed with, matam means they are endowed with, and what? Dhi. Dhi means intelligence, spiritual intelligence. Dhimatam. In Valmiki Ramayana, Lakshman is referred to as dhimatam. Very intelligent. So the unsuccessful yogi takes birth in the family of yogis who are dhimatam, who are very spiritually intelligent. They have great wisdom, and such a birth is very rare. Etadhi durlabha. Such a birth is durlabhataram, most rare birth, to take birth in the family of great devotees. So imagine, taking birth in a family where both the parents are sincere devotees of Krishna. Think about it. From childhood, you have always observed Ekadashi. From childhood, all you have eaten is Krishna Prasad. You have never tasted onion garlic. You have never tasted meat. Since childhood, you are attending Mangal Arti. You are drinking Shaligram Charanamrut in your house. You are going for satsang on the weekends. You are hearing Hari Katha. You are getting opportunity to chant Harinam. This type of birth is very rare. And who takes birth in such families of devotees? Yogis who were unsuccessful in their previous life. There was some deficiency, they could not attain perfection. So then they get birth in the family of devotees. Clearly Krishna says, Dhimatam yoginam. Very rare. Therefore Srila Prabhupada said that in our Krishna consciousness movement, to take birth in the Krishna consciousness movement is very rare. And these children who are appearing as the kids in Krishna consciousness, they are not ordinary children. In their previous life, they might have been very accomplished devotees, but they just couldn't attain perfection. They just couldn't attain Krishna. So they have come to complete their bhakti yoga in this life. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says something very sweet. Let's read the purport. It's very nice. I like it very much. Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajaka Acharya Ashtottar Shata Shri Śrīmad Abhay Charana Aravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada says in the purport to verse number 42, birth in a family of yogis. Yogis means spiritualists or transcendentalists. Those with great wisdom, Dhimatam, is praised herein by Krishna. Because the child born in such a family receives a spiritual impetus from the very beginning of his life. It is especially the case in the Acharya or Goswami families. Now imagine somebody takes birth in the Goswami families of Radharaman temple in Vrindavan. That deity who is non-different from Vrajendranandan, it is Sakshat Krishna. That deity that appeared from Shaligram Shila. One second, I will just get. Okay. नाही खुर्ची आणतो तुम्हाला नको नको आणतो ना खुर्ची बाजूला नाही माझा
जीव गोस्वामी दास आदि गदाधर स्वागत
नाही बसो आरामात बसा पायऱ्या मला वाटलं तुम्ही नाही येणार ओके
तयारच होतो
हा हरे कृष्णा सॉरी डियर डिवोटीज फॉर द इंटरप्शन सो या श्री श्री राधा रमन और राधा वल्लभ राधा मदन मोहन our Krishna Balram deities in Vrindavan, there are so many devotees, they are just generation after generation they are just serving. So Srila Prabhupada is writing, such families, the Acharya or Goswami families in Vrindavan or Navadvip, such families are very learned and devoted by tradition and training. So I remember we went to a temple in Vrindavan called Radha Gokulananda Temple. It is one of the 7 main Goswami temples in Vrindavan. And Radha Gokulananda are the worshipable deities of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Radha Gokulananda. And there we met a sadhu who every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, only worships Radha Gokulananda and the small Giriraj Shila of Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Mahaprabhu worshipped, is there in that temple. And every day, 7 days a week, there is nothing else. There is no holiday, no day off, no paid time off. Every single day of his life, he is worshipping Radha Gokulananda ji, who are the Pranadhan of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He worships the Govardhan Shila that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu worshipped. That same Govardhan Shila, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami worshipped. That same Govardhan Shila, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur worshipped. And now is in that temple. So I was talking to him and he said, from my childhood, that's all I am doing. Now imagine his children, their children. If somebody is born in such a family, where your family deity is Radha Gokulananda, your family deity is Mahaprabhu's Giriraj Shila, with Mahaprabhu's thumb imprint on that. That is what Srila Prabhupada is referring to here. That is what Krishna is referring to. That Athava yoginam eva kule bhavati dhimatam. Yoginam kule. You will be born in a Goswami or a Acharya family. Such families are very learned and devoted. They are very devoted. The families of Radharaman temple, everything is Radharaman. They sing for Radharaman. They make toys for Radharaman to play with. They cook for Radharaman. They make full bangla for Radharaman. Everything is Radharaman. In India, there are many such Acharya or Goswami families, but they have now degenerated due to insufficient education and training. In some places, there has been degeneration because of lack of education and training. By the grace of Lord Krishna, there are still families that foster transcendentalists generation after generation. Now, this is a positive thing Srila Prabhupada is saying here, that by the grace of Krishna, there are still families that foster transcendentalists, powerful spiritualists, generation after generation. It is certainly very fortunate to take birth in such families. So ordinary people, ordinary souls don't take birth in such families. They're very special devotee souls who take birth. Now see, this is a very sweet thing, what Srila Prabhupada says. Fortunately, both our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad, Śrīmad, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and our humble self had the opportunity to take birth in such families by the grace of Lord Krishna. And both of us were trained in the devotional service of Lord Krishna from the very beginning of our lives. Later on, we met by the order of the transcendental system. Hari Hari. Srila Prabhupada and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, they met by the transcendental system, the spiritual system. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was born as the son of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur in the 1860s and 1870s and 1880s was so actively preaching and praying for Krishna to send him a very special devotee as his son, as his child, who would help in the propagation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, the Harinam Sankirtan movement. And he was blessed with Bimala Prasad, who would later on become Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And our Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, Srila Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, he was also born in the family of pure devotees. Srila Prabhupada himself said, my father was a pure devotee. Morning he would worship Radha Govinda. In the evening when he would come home, he would worship Radha Govinda. And there was no question of eating onion garlic. There was no question of eating non-prasad. Never. Prabhupada never. He was born in a family of pure devotees. Actually, Srila Prabhupada is related to Srila Narottam Das Thakur. So the Malik family has a relationship with, they are descendants of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. So very, very great family. Verse number 43. Tatratam buddhi samyogam labhate paurvadehikam yatate chatato bhuyah samsiddhau kurunandana. On taking such a birth, Lord Krishna is telling Arjun, on taking such a birth, that unsuccessful yogi revives the divine consciousness of his previous life. And he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success. Samsiddhu. To achieve complete success. O son of Kuru, means Arjun. Arjun is Kuru Nandana. So what do we learn from here? Very important. So if we are in a university and somehow we fail, we get an F grade, then what happens? We get another chance. Okay, study again, take the exam again. This time do better. Similarly, when we come to Krishna consciousness and death comes, but by the time we meet with death, we have not achieved perfection in Krishna consciousness. So what happens? In our next life, Krishna gives us all facilities to continue our spiritual journey so we can reach our destination. If we start to go to New York from here, I may not be able to make it all the way to New York. It's already 3:15. So by the time it is nightfall, I may get tired and sleepy. So I may stop somewhere in Virginia or somewhere and then again continue the journey next day, like that. So if in this lifetime we are not able to make it, next lifetime you start from where you left off. So there is no loss in bhakti. But another lesson from this is there are no shortcuts in bhakti. It's not that, okay, you could not finish, you could only finish 50%. Theek hai. No problem. We will take care of the rest. No. We have to attain perfection in Krishna consciousness. That is the meaning of Milahuna Raghupati Bina Anuraga Koti Janma Japa Tapa Vairaga. Milahina Raghupati Bina Anuraga. Unless and until we have Anurag for Krishna, we cannot get Krishna. Love is the price that we have to pay, and there is no way around it. There is no way around it. We cannot get lucky and go to the spiritual world. There is no lottery system. In America, there is a lottery system for green card. In countries that are underrepresented, like Nepal, Bangladesh, and others, there is a lottery system. People just come on green card. They get green card on arrival. There is no lottery system in Golok Vrindavan. Milahina Raghupati Bina Anuraga Koti Janma Japa Tapa Vairaga. Koti Janma Japa Tapa Vairaga. You can renounce, become a Vairagi. You can do jap, you can do nirjala, you can do all the tapasya you want. You can walk barefoot. You can give up sweets. You can do what you want. You cannot purchase Krishna. Krishna is not for sale. That you do so many rounds and you buy Krishna. You do so many upvas, fasting, and you purchase Krishna. Krishna is not a commodity like that. You can purchase with your japa bal, your tapa bal, your vairaga bal. No. Bina Anuraga. We have to consider Krishna our heart and soul. Mat prananathastu sa eva napara. That is the price we have to pay. Then Krishna is ours. Then Krishna is ours. Bhaktya tushyati kevalam nacha gunaya bhakti priya madhav. काहू केवल भजन को काहू के आचार व्यास भरोसो कुंवरी को सोवत पाँव पसार. Some people have lot of faith in their bhajan. With my bhajan bal, I will get Krishna in this lifetime. I am chanting so many rounds. I am doing so much bhajan, so much hari katha, so much this, that. I am reading ashtakams. I will get Krishna on the basis of my bhajan bal. Kahu ke bal bhajan ko kahu ke achar. Some people say, hey, 4 regulative principles I have never broken. I don't know what is the taste of meat. I have been a vegetarian. I have never eaten onion garlic. I am very pure. I have never broken the 4 regulative principles. I have got sadachar. So they have faith on their sadachar. On the basis of my sadachar, I will get Krishna. No one is pure like me. I bathe 3 times a day. I never miss my Gayatri. I am very kahu kebal achar. They have a lot of faith in their sadachar. On the basis of sadachar, I will get Krishna. But a very great Vrajrasik Vaishnava Acharya, Hariram Vyasji, he writes, but Vyasa bharosa kuharika, sovata pao pasar. But my bharosa is on Radharani. And based on this faith in Radharani, that I belong to Radharani, and Radharani is my sarvasva, Radharani is everything for me, sovata pao pasar. I am just sitting on my khatiya, spreading my legs and going to sleep. I have no tension. So that is the way to get Krishna. By considering Krishna to be mine. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Ami to tomar, tumi to amar. He tells Krishna, Krishna, you are mine and I am yours. Tavaya vasmi, na jivami tvaya bina. Oh my dear Radhesham, I am yours, I am yours, I am yours. I cannot live without you. This is the price we have to pay. This is the meaning of Sharanagati. Sharanagati means I will not do anything that will displease my Ishtadev. What will please my Ishtadev, that is what I will do. And what will displease, I will not do. Anukula sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. So, on taking such a high-class birth in a pure devotee family, the unsuccessful yogi revives the divine consciousness of the previous life. And he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success. O son of Kuru. He attained complete success. We have to take complete success. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada gives a favorite example from Śrīmad Bhagavatam. What is that example? It is the example of Maharaj Bharat. King Bharat took his third birth in the family of a good Brahman. Is an example of good birth for the revival of previous transcendental consciousness. King Bharat was the emperor of the world, and since his time, this planet has been known among the demigods as Bharatavarsha. Formerly, it was known as Ilavrita The emperor at an early age, Maharaj Bharat, at an early age, retired for the sake of spiritual perfection. He went to Kali Gandaki river in Nepal, in the Himalayas. That time there was no Nepal. It was all Bharatvarsha, named after him only. So he went to the Himalayas, where the Shaligram Shila is found, very holy place. It is called Gupta Vrindavan. It is non-different from it, because Shaligram is Shamsundar. Worshipping Shaligram Shila, bathing Shaligram with Gandaki water, offering tulsi leaves, doing tapasya, chanting mantras. But somehow he failed to achieve success. In his next life, he took birth in the family of a good Brahman and was known as Jada Bharat. Because he always remained secluded and did not talk to anyone, he was called Jada. Jada means dumb. He did not talk. His father would teach him Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhur Bhuva. He would not learn. He would not learn. He had a Brahmin thread. He would never change it. The Brahmin thread become black like coal. His father taught him so many times. Om, Bhur. He tried to teach the whole Gayatri Mantra. Many times. He could not memorize. We are Kali Yuga fellows. But even we can memorize the Gayatri Mantra. But Jada Bharat could not. Even though his father was teaching him. He was pretending. He was pretending not to memorize it. He knew everything. He was a self-realized yogi. Completely self-realized. But he said, if I memorize, if I start chanting, again people will respect me. And I will fall into Maya. This time I will not give any leniency to Maya. I will not let Maya enter my life, enter my consciousness. So to remain humble, he pretended to be dumb. He pretended to be Jada. Very foolish, very low IQ. People thought he was a mentally, intellectually challenged fellow. And they would make fun of him. And he never complained. He pretended to be a fool. Although he was self-realized. He knew everything. He knew the deepest meaning of Brahma Gayatri Mantra. Oh, he pretending not to know. Father would say, hey, go. Answer nature's call and then wash your hands and come. He would go wash his hands and then answer nature's call. And then come without washing his hands. Haribol. Father said, Arey beta, not like that. You go answer nature's call, then you wash your hands. Okay, daddy. He would wash his hands, go and answer nature's call and come back. He was so pretended to be such a fool. Why? Because he wanted to be known as a fool. So nobody will bother him. Nobody will respect him. He wanted to be a manina. And then this Jada Bharat was just such a beautiful life he had. There's so much to speak. We don't have time. Actually, we have to end. But anyway, some other time I will tell you what he told Maharaj Rahugana. Something very sweet. So he remained always secluded and did not talk to anyone. And later on, he was discovered as the greatest transcendentalist by King Rahugana. King Rahugana was the king of that area. And he was going through the forest and Jada Bharat was walking like a madman in the forest. And one of the palanquin carriers called in sick. So they had only 3 palanquin carriers. They needed a 4th one. So they found this man, Jada Bharat, in the forest roaming. And he was very sturdy, very strong. He was forest man. He didn't eat rasgullas and rabdi. He was not fat. He was muscular and lean. He's very fit. He can carry the king. Hey, idhar aao. Come on, be the fourth carrier of the king. This is Maharaj Rahugana. He's the Mandalapati. He's the king of this region. Carry him. Okay, sir, as you say. Jada Bharat was amanina. Mana dena. He carried. But he's mana dena for everyone, not just the king. When ants were crawling, Jada Bharat would not step over them. The other palanquin carriers blatantly stepped over, crushed the ants and went ahead. But Jada Bharat was trying to avoid them. As a result, the palanquin of the king became unsteady. And Maharaj Rahugana, who was used to comfortable rides in the palanquin, suddenly started shaking. Said, hey, he chastised all four of them. Suli pe chadha dunga sabko. I will give capital punishment to all four of you. Carry the palanquin properly. I want a smooth ride. Good suspensions. Independent suspensions on all four sides. So the three palanquin carriers who were from the palace, they immediately pointed finger towards the fourth carrier, Jada Bharat. Said, we are not to blame. Please don't punish us with capital punishment. He is the one. He is jumping here and there and stepping, misstepping. You chastise him. So then Maharaj Rahugana chastised Jada Bharat. You fool. I am the king. You are my praja. You are supposed to serve me. And this is how you treat your king. You don't know how to carry the palanquin. You seem to be very strong, stout body. You cannot carry it properly. Why are you jumping and moving here and there like that? Just carry properly. Okay, sir. Okay, Maharaj, Jada Bharat said. Again they went. Again he did the same thing. When there were some ants, he would not step on the ants. Because it was just a question of comfortable ride for Maharaj Rahugana, but for the ants it was life and death. It was life and death. Jada Bharat said, why should I crush and kill them? It is better if the king tolerates little inconvenience. So he would try to avoid the ants. And again the palanquin shook. Maharaj Rahugana got down from the palanquin. Everybody was trembling. Now what is he going to do? Is he going to draw his sword and behead all of us? Maharaj Rahugana again chastised Jada Bharat. You fool. I think you deserve death punishment. You cannot even carry my palanquin properly. Don't you know I am the king and you are my servant? Jada Bharat said, yes, in this lifetime, you are the king and I am your servant. But in my previous life, I was king and you were my servant. Do you know Maharaj Bharat, who was the Samrat of the whole planet, and you were a servant under Maharaj Bharat? I am that Maharaj Bharat. In my previous life, 2 lives ago, I was Maharaj Bharat. You know that Maharaj Bharat who took sannyas and went to the forest? Maharaj Bharat, yes, who doesn't know Maharaj Bharat? I am Maharaj Bharat, reborn as Jada Bharat. Yes, you are the king, I am the servant, but previously you were a servant and I was your king. And I had thousands of little kings like you working for me. Maharaj Rahugana, I am that Maharaj Bharat. So yes, in this lifetime, you are the king and I am the servant. And those are ants. In your next life, you will be the ant. And one of those ants will be the king. How about that? So this is transcendental knowledge. Anyway, it's a very beautiful section of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. And it's in the 5th canto. Bhagavatam is filled with nectar. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada is writing, from his life, it is understood that transcendental endeavors or the practice of yoga never go in vain. By the grace of Lord Krishna, the transcendentalist gets repeated opportunities for complete perfection in Krishna consciousness. We are like that student who has failed not once in the same grade, not twice, not 3 times, millions of times. Even in universities, there is a mercy attempt. Na? After I think 6 times, there's a mercy attempt. You pass it or you just quit. But in Krishna's university, in this university called material world, there is no mercy attempt. Krishna is so merciful. Krishna is the merciful Lord. And he allows unlimited attempts. As long as the last jiva is not delivered, Krishna will keep coming. Paritranaya sadhunam. Sambhavami yuge yuge. He will keep coming because he loves us. Verse number 44. In the interest of time, I will not read all the verses. We'll just read the translation. By virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, the unsuccessful yogi automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles, even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive transcendentalist stands always above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. There is one disciple of Srila Prabhupada in America, a true story. He was 14 years old and he was in high school and he was just sitting and studying in the study room, like Mallika is sitting there in her study room. So he was just sitting and studying. A true story. 1970s in America. He had never met devotees, did not know anything about India. Nothing. He just saw saffron-clad ISKCON devotees walking on the street doing Harinam Sankirtan. He dropped the book, got up, went downstairs, got onto the road, raised his hands, started chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, went with them to the temple, never came back. Became a brahmachari. Even today, he is one of the senior devotees in our movement. Just never came back. He said, this is what I was looking for. Immediately the whole memory came back from previous life, that this is what I'm supposed to do. He's today also a very nice devotee in ISKCON. This is the example. By virtue of divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to Krishna consciousness. Automatically. So many people, they're naturally attracted to Krishna consciousness. How you can imagine the Americans, boys and girls getting attracted. So this is Aho Baraswa Pachato Gariyan Yajivagre Vartate Nama Tubhyam Te Pustapaste Juhuvu Sasnurarya Brahmanuchurnam Grinanti Yete. Very important verse, the third canto of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Mother Devahuti speaks this verse to her divine son, Lord Kapiladev. Aho batashwa pachato gariyan yah jivhagre vartate nama tubhyam. Oh my Lord, oh Supreme Personality of God Bhagwan, persons who chant the holy names of your Lordship, yah jivhagre vartate nama tubhyam, the chanting your name with their tongue, are far, far advanced in spiritual life. Even if born in Shwapacho, even if born in the families of dog eaters, the Chandalas, lowest class of people, dog eaters. Such chanters have undoubtedly performed all kinds of tapasya, austerity, sacrifices, bathed in all the holy places, and finished all scriptural studies. Because now they have come to the point of Krishna consciousness. The famous example of this was presented by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who accepted Thakur Haridas as one of his most important disciples. Although Thakur Haridas happened to take birth in a Muslim family, he was elevated to the post of Nam Acharya by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu due to his rigidly attended principle of chanting 300,000 names of Lord Krishna daily. That is 192 rounds. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. 108 times the Mahamantra is one round, and he would chant 192 rounds like that. So it practically takes 24 hours. And because he chanted the holy name of Lord Krishna constantly, it is understood that in his previous life, he must have passed through all the ritualistic methods of the Vedas, known as Shabda Brahma. Yes, because he was Lord Brahma. Tene Brahma Hridaya Ādi Kavai. He was Ādi Kavi. Unless, therefore, one is purified, one cannot take to the principles of Krishna consciousness or become engaged in chanting of the holy name of Lord. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says. Verse number 45. And when the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contaminations, then ultimately achieving perfection after many, many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal. So, Krishna consciousness is not a cheap thing. And there are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts. There are express lanes, but there are no shortcuts. We can go fast, but we cannot, there is no bypass. You cannot bypass purification. You cannot bypass prem. The way to Krishna is through prem. Prem is the way. Prem prayojan. Prem is the ultimate. There is no way around prem. Krishna prem is the sadhya. So yogi has to endeavor himself. What does it say? What are the two words? Sincere endeavor. Prayatnat yatamanaha. One has to really sincerely endeavor. Sincere prayatna, sincere endeavor. And we have to yogi samshuddha kilbisha. Samshuddha kilbisha. Very important. Samshuddha means completely cleansed of kilbhisha. Kilbhisha means all the sins. Unless and until our papa pravritti, our papa acharan and our all sinful activities, they are completely given up, completely destroyed, one cannot get Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada quotes another verse from Bhagavad Gītā, very important, from the next chapter, very important verse. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrataha. Unless and until yesham tvantagatam papam, unless and until we stop all papa karma, we give up all sinful activities, and jananam punya karmanam, and unless and until we are engaged in punya karma, in spiritual activities, we cannot bhajante mam dridhavrata. Krishna says one cannot worship me steadily, with determination and steadiness. If we analyze our Krishna consciousness, my dear friends, for many days, weeks, sometimes months, our bhajan is going good, chanting is going good, everything, consciousness is good, and then suddenly there is unsteadiness in our bhajan. Something happens, our bhajan goes up and down, and we are not steady. So bhajan is shaky, not steady. Anaishtiki bhajan kriya. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, Anaishtiki bhajan kriya. Why our bhajan is unsteady? Because we are still doing some pap karma. We are still engaged in sinful activities. That we have to stop. Aparadh and pap, both we have to give up. Otherwise, there will be disturbance in our bhajan. And see what Krishna says. Te dvandva moha nirmukta. We will not be free from moha and dvandva. Dvandva means all dualities. Honor, dishonor, happiness, distress. We will not be able to get over these dualities and do bhajante mam dridhavrata. We will not be able to execute, perform devotional service steadily. Now, last two verses of this chapter, which are very important. Verse number 46. Tapas vibhyodhiko yogi jnanibhyopi matodhikaha karmibhyas chadhiko yogi tasmad yogi bhava arjuna. A very important verse. Tasmad yogi bhava arjuna. You should become a yogi, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna. Why? Because a yogi is greater than an ascetic, tapasvi. A yogi is better than a tapasvi. Tapasvi means an ascetic who performs a lot of austerities, tapasya. Tapas vibhyodhiko yogi. A yogi is better than a tapasvi. Jnani bhyopi matodhikam. And a yogi is also considered better than a jnani. Jnani means a philosopher. Philosopher. Better than a philosopher. And karmibhyas chadhiko yogi. And a yogi is also better than a karmi, a fruitive worker, one who engages in karma kand, one who wants to perform certain Vedic kriya to get indra tripti, sense gratification. A yogi is better than a karma kandi, better than a jnana kandi, and better than a tapasvi. A yogi is better than all of them. Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. That's why, my dear Arjun, I'm telling you the best, you be a yogi. Okay. So now what is a natural question? Who is a yogi? Isn't it? Krishna is saying to Arjun, Tasmad yogi bhava Arjuna. Oh Arjuna, become a yogi. So the next question is, who is a yogi? What kind of yogi should we be? Yogi is better than a karma kandi, jnana kandi, dhyana kandi. Dhyana kandis are generally tapasvis who practice Ashtanga yoga. All that asana and dhyan and everything. Okay. So now, who is a yogi? That will be explained in the final verse of this chapter, last verse. I know we have spent many sessions on chapter 6. Now this is the last concluding verse, verse number 47. Very famous verse, worth memorizing. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha. Krishna is saying, and of all the yogis, karma yogi, dhyana yogi, jnana yogi, ashtanga yogi, of all the yogis, the one with great faith, shraddhavan, bhajate yomam, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me. Mam, Krishna is saying, shraddhavan, bhajate yomam. Same yuktattamo mata. Such a person is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all yogis. Uttama means the highest. Same yuktattamo mata. Yuktattama, the highest yogi. That is my opinion. Mata, that is my opinion. And it is Krishna's opinion that matters. We may have our opinions. It doesn't matter what our opinion is. If somebody commits a murder and says, in my opinion, this was not sinful, I think it was okay. Who cares what your opinion is? We care what the opinion of the constitution is. What does the law say? That will prevail. If the law says this is illegal, you'll be punished. Like that. So we cannot live in this world the way we want. I will believe in God if I want to. It's my choice. It's a free country. It's a democracy. Well, democracy is there, but democracy was not there 500 years ago. And 500 years from now, there will be some other crazy. It may not be democracy. Who knows? So these things keep changing in this world. But this entire material world has been created by Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhava matah sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajante mam buddhabhava samanita. This whole world is created by Krishna, and ultimately Krishna has his own laws. And those laws are superior to the laws of the created. We are created people. And we are created, and then we create some sub-rules within our little creation. But then there is the original creator, and his rules are most important. For example, we may make rules in our house. Aparna Mataji, Papa, there are some rules in this house. Okay? We can steal in this house. No problem. It is legal to steal. That is our rule in this house. We can make our rules. And then we go to Walmart or Kroger and we steal something. We do shoplifting. And we are caught. And we say, that's fine. In our family, it's allowed. It's not illegal to steal. It's our rule. It's okay. Hare Krishna. And then we are produced in front of the judge. And we tell the judge, in our family, stealing is allowed, judge. It's not illegal. The judge will say, yes, you can have your rules. But your rules don't apply. Your rules have no basis. We don't care about your rules. The rule of the land is stealing is illegal and you will be punished. But no, God, abortion is legal. It is there in the constitution. We can abort. Even eating meat is legal. Drinking alcohol is legal. Smoking cigarettes is legal after a certain age. Does that mean there is no sin involved in that? So you have to think about these things. What is Jaiva Dharma and what is Naimittik Dharma? There's a difference. So people can make their rules, people can make their laws. But what is Krishna's opinion, Mataha? That is most important. Samayukta Tamo Mata. Krishna, in my opinion, the best yogi is one who always thinks of me, worships me with faith. That is the best yogi. Madgatena antaratmana. Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam. Samayukta Tamo Mata. Such a yogi is best. That is Krishna's opinion. So Krishna is very clearly, unambiguously proclaiming the importance of bhakti, the preeminence of bhakti, the superiority of bhakti over karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, raja yoga, hatha yoga, etc., etc. Because yoga means to unite, to bring together. Yunjate. Yoga means to bring together. And there are different ways of coming close to Krishna. There is karma yoga, there is dhyana yoga, jnana yoga. We have studied them and we will be studying them more in Bhagavad Gītā. But the best is bhakti yoga. What is bhakti yoga? Bhakti yoga means sharanagati. To do what is pleasing for Krishna. Whatever Krishna wants, we do that. We try to please Krishna, we try to serve Krishna without expecting anything for ourselves in return. That is the best. And bhakti depends on Guru. Bhakti is taught to us by Guru. And we should have equal faith in Guru and Krishna. And that is mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in the purport. It is by great fortune that one comes to Krishna consciousness on the path of Bhakti Yoga, to become well situated according to Vedic direction. The ideal yogi concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is called Sham Sundar, who is as beautifully colored as a cloud, whose lotus-like face is as effulgent as the sun, whose dress is brilliant with jewels, and whose body is flower garlanded. How beautiful is that? This is Srila Prabhupada's meditation. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra in Bhagavad Gītā, Krishna, Srila Prabhupada is giving us this darshan of Krishna in the purport. The ideal yogi concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is called Shyam Sundar. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintya gunaswarupam govindam ādi purusham tamaham bhajami venu kvanantam aravinda dalayataksham barhavatam asitam buddha sundarangam kandarpa koti kamaniya vishesha shobham govindam ādi purusham tamaham bhajami. This is the description. It's beautiful like a rain cloud. Lotus face is as effulgent as the sun. His dress is brilliant, pitambar vastra, with jewels, and his body is covered with vanamala, flower garland, illuminating all sides in his gorgeous lustre, which is called the Brahma Jyoti. Krishna incarnates in different forms such as Ram, Narsimha, Varaha, and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he descends like a human being as the son of Mother Yashoda, and he is known as Krishna, Govinda, and Vasudeva. He is the perfect child, the perfect husband, the perfect friend, the perfect master, and is full of all opulences and transcendental qualities. If one remains fully conscious of these features of Lord Krishna, he is called the highest yogi. So now I want to know from all of you, my dear friends, please unmute and one by one, let's go. I want all of you to prove how Krishna is the perfect child, the perfect husband, the perfect friend, and the perfect master. So who, raise your hand, who would like to say how Krishna is the perfect child? Please raise your hand. How Krishna is the perfect child. Aparna Mataji, you want to say something?
Prabhuji gave immense joy to Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Rani with all his leelas and stealing butter and letting them bind him. Then
Yes.
Also for Devaki Mata, he brought back the dead sons.
Wow.
So for
6
the
dead
mothers,
sons.
yeah, so he did that, and that just his presence, and it was immense joy for the devotees. But all the individual leelas in the little boyhood ages, and then even in Dwaraka, he continuously gave a lot of pleasure to both the parents.
Very nice. Gives so much pleasure. Vrajangana sunayakam sada sukha pradayakam jaganmana pralobhanam namami nandanandanam. Yes, Ramsham Prabhu, you can unmute. Tell us something. How Krishna is the perfect husband. You are not able to unmute or what? Oh, so sorry. Okay, yes, you can unmute now, Ramsham Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all great Tesla Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you so
How
much.
Krishna is the perfect husband? Ramsham
Yeah.
Prabhu, please tell me.
So, Krishna is the perfect husband, Prabhuji. Can you repeat the question, Prabhuji? Because I had the impression the first question. So you
Okay,
change the
tell us how Krishna is the perfect child.
Okay, so Krishna is the perfect child because he gives all pleasure to Yashoda Mai, and we remember Damodar Lila. So from there, and all the activity what he does because of that, and for all the Brajavasi, he protected by lifting the Govardhan hill. So that's the way he pleases to all, not only to the Nanda Baba and Yashoda Mai, to all the Brajavasis.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Thank you, Aparna Mataji. Thank you, Ramsham Prabhu. Now, Sharanagat Mataji, please tell us how Krishna is the perfect husband.
So, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So, what I remember is that when Narad Muni, he went to see that each and every place, how Krishna is doing or how he is as a family man, how he is doing, what is his activity. So he found out that he is doing very perfectly as a husband's role. He's doing that perfect role in each and every place with 16,108 wives. So that proves. And then also when Satyabhama wanted Parijatak, he fought with Indra and brought it, so he didn't say that any compromise. As a husband, he fulfilled that duty. And that's all is coming in my mind right now. But
It is very nice. It's very
thank you.
nice. Yeah. Once Srila Radha Govinda Goswami Maharaj, the beloved spiritual master of our dear Ram Sham Prabhu, he was in Texas. I think it was Houston. He was doing Hari Katha, and there was a home program. After the home program, all the devotees are sat down to honor Prasad. And there was a lady, Punjabi lady. She came to Srila Radha Govind Maharaj and started challenging. ये किशन ने इतने 16,000 पत्नी क्यों रखे द्वारका में? Why Krishna, Kishan, because in Punjabis they call Kishan. ये किशन ने 16,108 पत्नियां क्यों बनाए? क्या कारण है? भगवान है ना, समझना चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. So she was very agitated and she was challenging. So Srila Radha Govind Maharaj did not answer only. He continued honoring Prasad. He said, फालतू क्वेश्चन पूछ रही है. He didn't answer. पर वो भी अड़ गई. वो उसे जिद करने लगी, बोले नहीं बताओ, भगवान है ना, एक पत्नी रखनी चाहिए, इतने क्यों? 16,000 ऐसा कोई करता है क्या? अच्छा है क्या ये? So then Srila Radha Govind Maharaj, he said, तुमको क्या प्रॉब्लम है? वो 16,000 में से 1-2 हजार के लिए खाना तुम भेजती हो क्या? वो 16,108 पत्नियां रखे, वो 16,108 अरब पत्नियां रखे, तुमको क्या है? तुम्हारे घर से 2-3 लड़कियां उठा के लेके गए थे क्या? 16,108 पत्नियां है, लेकिन किसी की कंप्लेंट नहीं आती कभी. कभी किसी की कंप्लेंट नहीं आई, सब पत्नियां खुश है द्वारका में. Just like Sharanagat Mata is explaining, all the wives were very happy. Every wife got one palace of her own, not one bedroom of her own, one palace with maid servants and gardens and waterfalls and everything. And Krishna expanded himself into 16,108 Krishnas, and all the time he would be there. There was no relationship problem. There was no divorce or separation.
All of them had requested Krishna.
Yes, exactly. Krishna is the perfect husband. So that Bhaumasur had kidnapped 16,100 princesses, and he had kept them imprisoned because he had read in the Puranas that Bhagwan has 16,108 wives. So he wanted to outnumber. He said, I want to break that record. So he needed only 9 more wives. Then he was going to marry all of them in one big grand vivaha and break the record. I will have 16,109 wives. I will beat the record of, as he had read because Krishna's Leela happens every millennium, not every millennium, but every kalpa. So he was at 16,100 princesses. He needed 9 more. Navavidha Bhakti. He needed 9 more. But then Krishna came and killed him. And then those princesses said that Bhaumasur has touched our hand when he kidnapped us and brought us here. So now nobody will marry us. So Krishna said, you go to your parents. Your parents will protect you. They said, no, but parents also may not accept us because of the Orthodox society. Because Bhaumasur has touched us. So Krishna says, so then what to do? So they said, we have accepted you, Krishna, as our husband. So please marry us. We have accepted you as our Lord and Master. So we would like to be your wives. So Krishna said, all right, so be it. So Krishna married them because they requested. So like that. So Krishna is the perfect husband. Okay. How Krishna is the perfect friend? Raise your hand if you would like to answer. How Krishna is the perfect friend? Give some examples. Yes, Ramsham Prabhu.
So Very well friendship with the Vipra Sudama project.
Ah, Sudama. Yes, very nice example. Pooja Mataji, you want to give an example of how Krishna is the perfect friend?
Prabhuji, I was thinking the same about Sudama, but also in Vrindavan, when Krishna was small, during all his leelas, he would make sure all his friends are fed. And when Brahmaji came down and he kidnapped all his friends, he made sure that they all were able to come back and in their houses. And while they were away, he took their place in all their homes to make sure their mothers didn't feel the separation.
Wow. Very wonderful. Thank you, Pooja Mataji. Very nice.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Example. Thank you. Very nice example.
And again, Prabhuji, how can we forget Arjuna?
Hari Bol. Yes, one who is listening to these verses of Bhagavad Gita. How much? Yes, Ricky ji, please share. Tell how Krishna is a perfect friend. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna. Actually, our son, his name is Krishna and he's 4 years old. He wants to answer that why Krishna is perfect friend.
Yes, please. Krishna, go ahead. Tell us about Krishna.
So he's saying that he killed all the demons to rescue his friends.
Wow, very nice. Very nice. Putana came, Trinavarta came, Aghasur came, Bakasur came, and Krishna killed all of them. Dhenukasur, Arishtasur, all of them. Yes, very good. Very nice example. Thank you, little Krishna, for that example. How Krishna is the best friend. How Krishna... yes?
He's saying you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Thank you, beta. Thank you. Now, how Krishna is the best master? Who wants to tell? How Krishna is the best master? Who wants to tell? Raise your hand. How Krishna is the best master? Yes, Sharanagat Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mata, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, that I felt that like when Arjun, he surrendered to Krishna, he didn't even wait for a second and just started, taking that position as a master and, saying him that like you're thinking like a mood. And so he immediately started taking that role and acted upon it. So I just thought of that example that he played a very nice role as a master and throughout the Bhagavad Gita also. Hare Krishna.
Yes, very nice, good example. So with Arjun, there is a bhaktosi mein sakha cheti. There is a relationship of sakha also, and there is a relationship of master and bhakt also. So yes, that is also a good example. Another example how Krishna is the best master. Yes, Gaurachandra Prabhu from New Zealand.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So I was just listening to your class in YouTube. I've just switched over here. So yes,
okay. Yes.
One example I was thinking was when of a friend is that when how Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala as well. That when during the war, when Krishna had to go left or right wherever, then Arjun would touch his foot on Krishna's and Krishna's back to tell him whether he has to go right or left. So that is only a friend and that depicts Krishna's Bhakta Vatsalta, Prabhuji. So that's what that was coming to my mind.
Yes, there's so many examples of Krishna being the perfect master. So many examples are there. Even to the horses. Now to the horses, there is a relationship of master. Because there are the horses and Krishna is playing the role of a Sarathi. So he's the master of the horses. Even the horses, Krishna would protect them from the arrows of the enemies. He would move the horses in such a way that the enemies tried their best to shoot arrows at the horses of Krishna, but they were not able to. But great warriors like Bhishma Dev and Karna, they were able to shoot some arrows at the horses, and Krishna with his own hands, he would remove those arrows and touch the horses and all the wounds would immediately heal. Even on that fateful day when Krishna had to help Arjun kill Jayadratha. The entire Kuru army was after Arjun, and they created a formation like a needle. Dronacharya created a formation like a needle, and Arjun had to pierce. It was miles and miles and miles long Kuru army, and Arjun had to penetrate through the whole ranks of the Kuru army to reach Jayadratha before sunset. And the horses became really tired because the horses were being attacked, they were being beaten, they were being hit by arrows and swords and everything. The horses were bleeding, they were tired, they were thirsty. So Krishna told Arjun that the horses need a break. So do something. So then Arjun, with his siddhi, he shot some arrows in such a way that he created a fenced off garden. And there was grass, there was water pond, everything. And then Arjun got down from the chariot and he was fighting on foot. And Satyaki came to support Arjun so that the Kauravas could not get him. And then Krishna took the horses in that area that Arjun had created through his siddhi. And he fed water, grass to the horses, made them sit down for some time, massaged them. Krishna is massaging the horses. What a wonderful, where will we get such a master as Krishna? So yes, there are many examples. We could have a full class on that, how Krishna is the perfect master. But very beautiful point Srila Prabhupada is making. Krishna is the perfect child, perfect husband, perfect friend, and perfect master. And he's full of all opulences and transcendental qualities. If one remains fully conscious of these features of Lord Krishna, he is called the highest yogi. So beautiful. So this is the end of this purport today. Srila Prabhupada writes, we have to go for Amarendra Prabhu's class now. So we'll end it here. Śrīmad Bhagavad Gītā ji ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Radhe Radhe.
Hare Krishna.